Mueller complained that Barr's letter did not capture context of Trump probe.
Dude, the game of like, whoops, should have waited just continues to unfold before my eyes. So it turns out that this 4-page summary that literally everybody ran with like it was gospel was immediately disputed by the people that actually ran the investigation.
Right. I kind of wonder, like, does it really even matter at this point now that the full report has been released with the redactions?
Well, they outright, yes, it does, because
Yes.
it established the narrative that Trump was basically innocent.
Right. So here's what they're saying. Special counsel Robert S. Mueller III wrote a letter in late March complaining to Attorney General William P. Barr that a 4-page memo to Congress describing the principal conclusions of the investigation into President Trump did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of Mueller's work, according to a copy of the letter reviewed Tuesday by the Washington Post. The letter and a subsequent phone call between the two men reveal the degree to which the longtime colleagues and friends disagreed as they handled the legally and politically fraught task of investigating the president. Democrats in Congress are likely to scrutinize Mueller's complaints to Barr as they contemplate the prospect of opening impeachment proceedings and mull how hard to press for Mueller himself to testify publicly. By the way, that's already happened. Robert Mueller is slated to testify to Congress about the Trump-Russia report.
That's gonna be... Oh my God.
Well, Barr is testifying as we speak.
Right. He's actually. Well, I don't know if I don't know if he's still doing it. But
well, he was when I
probably
left
is.
to come over here.
I saw all kinds of stuff telling me you can go watch it live. Obviously, I didn't have time to do that because I was gathering.
I watched a
articles
little
for the
bit of
site.
it.
Well, what's interesting is because...
But it says that here that a deal. I'll let you guys loose in 1 second.
Okay,
It
no
just
problem.
says here that a deal has been brokered for Robert Mueller to testify to Congress about his report into Russian election interference and possible obstruction of justice by Donald Trump. An event that has immediately become the latest, most eagerly anticipated appearance of an official on Capitol Hill. So go ahead.
It's really interesting because, I mean, going into this, the Justice Department had a policy that they don't believe you can indict a sitting president. So Mueller's report was always going to be, it was always going to have to be like someone else is going to have to take action. Like, we're
Right.
not going to try to indict Trump. So, I mean, like,
Which is the context of the report if you
exactly.
actually read it.
Correct.
Which is counter to the narrative that you hear this drumbeat coming from both sides now. Of like, let's get past this. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, Kyle Kulinski is one of these guys. It's like, it's time to put this whole thing behind us. I'm like, why? If this thing is just starting. There are 10 concurrent investigations, including this one, into the president.
Well, the report actually did find that Trump met the criteria for obstruction of justice, but simply they just said we can't indict Trump. He's the president. That was the only if Trump was anybody else, he'd be indicted. That's basically what they're saying.
So there's like a bunch of narratives flying around. There's still the narrative, which is why this whole Barr summary, this 4-page summary he released, was so damaging. Because it established a narrative that's going to be hard to break. Trump's exonerated. All done. He did nothing wrong.
I mean,
no collusion, no corruption, no obstruction.
Democrats have no one but themselves to blame for that anyway, because they kept running with this collusion narrative in the first place. When collusion,
you know who has?
It's not even a crime. It's not even. There's no legal definition of collusion.
Conspiracy is the word they should have been using from the very fucking get-go.
So because they let Trump frame it as no collusion, no collusion, no collusion, the report has to say, we didn't find anything about collusion because that's not a thing to us.
Right.
He's like, no collusion. See, told you.
So
exonerated, innocent.
The dual narrative that I seem to see is that one, which is going to be hard to reverse because most people just run with whatever comes on the news first, and then they make up their minds and they go forward. So like, and it's also the reactionary. It's the reactionary person that wants to have a take immediately. Like that's all we're about now is having a take immediately. So that seems to be the two angles that I see going. It's like people that just ran with whatever the news said and people that just want to like be done with this already. I don't understand Kyle Kulinski's and people like him's desire to just put this away. That fucking report is filled with shit that a president shouldn't be doing. Why aren't we talking about it?
I feel like they're probably from their perspective, it's probably bad. What he did was obviously bad, but it was also the fact they don't want to die on that hill. They're like, look, we just need to move forward and attack Trump and these other things, and just try to have someone elected.
Yeah,
to replace.
I think
Trump.
a lot of people, myself included, to an extent,
and I don't think they believe
feel
Trump's
like there's
gonna be
so
impeached.
many things you could be going after Trump for that you could nail him on way harder than you could nail him on this fucking vague ass report.
Well, it's like the Benghazi thing with like Hillary, and Obama. It was like, oh, it was never ending. Oh, Benghazi. It's like they pick a scandal and it's just hammered home, and it's hammered home, and it's hammered home.
Like, the dude fucking just authorized a genocide in Yemen, and we're not fucking trying to use that against him. He's probably violated the emoluments clause like a bazillion times.
It's because politicians have to get up in front of the American people and say something and talk about something. So as long as they're not talking about substantive issues, they're at least talking about something.
I mean, at least if you're going to go after something in the report, go after the obstruction of justice shit, because
I think that's going to be the focus going forward.
And also, like, look into Trump's financial dealings.
That's already being done.
Right. And
that's
that
being done
that
in 10 different
investigation
fucking ways.
Is way more pertinent to me than this Russian shit.
New York State is on the cusp of passing a law. I saw a story about this that would allow them to make public the state level tax returns of any politician in New York.
Good.
So Trump's New York State tax returns are on the cusp of at least. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a legal.
Oh
challenge.
yeah, it'll be a legal battle to get those too. Though.
Well, a lot of states have already added laws. At least 2 states, I think, at this point, have added laws that say if you don't release your tax returns as a politician, you're not allowed on the ballot.
Right.
Which those are also, of course, being challenged.
Probably found to be unconstitutional.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably so.
I don't know what in the Constitution would protect that. First Amendment?
Probably. I'm not
Fourth
sure.
Amendment?
There's probably something. I'm sure there's some legal argument. I mean, they might lose it, but I think that they'll. I mean, there's nothing that. Also in the Constitution, there's nothing that requires you to release a tax return.
Interesting.
To become president, you don't have to release your tax return.